What's going on, everyone, and welcome to Mind of Mateo. This is the first episode that I will be doing audio and video. I will put my link to my YouTube channel in the description so you can check it out as well. I want to thank you guys once again for tuning in. I really, truly appreciate it. I'm just amazed at how many people tune in, listen, download the episodes and everything like that. It's truly amazing. It's more than I ever anticipated coming in for this podcast, and I really honestly hope that I'm able to help you guys and bring some value to your life, help you with your day-to-day. So I wanted to talk about how to start, I guess is the title for my podcast episode today. Because I've been talking to a few people over the last week or two, and it's very apparent to me, and even thinking about my own life, thinking about things that I've been dealing with lately, things that I've been learning about myself as I push myself into different areas. And it's how to start, because you have to start multiple times, even as you're going on in your journey. You start different phases of your life. You start different tasks, start different parts of your business. There's many different starts, but you have to start, right? So I was talking to a few people, and some people are looking to launch businesses. Other people are looking to launch like YouTube channels, or looking to launch podcasts and whatnot. And what became apparent to me, and thinking about myself, the hardest part was starting. And the reason why it's so hard is there's so many different things that you're fighting against internally to actually start. And you have so many ways to rationalize why you shouldn't do something. So I want to talk about a few reasons why people don't start, and some things to look forward to. So the first one I want to mention is one that I struggle with a ton. It's super hard for me, and I know it stems from the root of it is from an insecurity, right? And that is perfectionism. Going through, you may start doing something, but never actually getting to the finish line to have a deliverable, right? So you know, when I was doing music and making music, I'd always start creating, and I'd have something that was okay. I mean, it wasn't like a banger or anything like that, but it was good, right? And at least it was something, and I would never release it, never would, because I always was feeling that it could be better. That it could be stronger, that I could do more. And so it would just sit there and it get stale. And what would happen is all this creative juice and all this energy and everything that I had put into, and that I had momentum, I lost the momentum. So it would never go anywhere. It would just fizzle out. And at the end of the day, I don't have a finished product. And even though I had kind of started to do something, I never followed through with it. And it was all from that insecurity of you're hiding, you're kind of twisting it and making it sound like, oh, but I can make it stronger, I can make it better. But really, you're just afraid of what people think, or you're afraid to even open yourself up to others. And so don't hide behind perfectionism. Don't allow that insecurity to stop you from starting, stop you from truly getting there and putting something out and starting that thing that you wanted to do, starting your personal fitness, your health, whatever it may be. Don't fall into the trap of perfectionism, because really what I found, at least in my case, was it's just a deep insecurity, man. It really is. It's truly just a deep insecurity, and you've got so much in you. So I'll just start with that. I will say this. I've learned this to be true. This has rang true in my life. You will learn more in 30 minutes of doing, executing, following through. You'll learn more in 30 minutes or an hour of doing than you will spending a day, a couple hours, whatever it is, trying to like learn your way through it so you can be better, right? I'm not saying don't educate yourself. I'm not saying don't deep dive, get deeper into things, learn about stuff like that. I'm not saying that, but don't hide behind it, right? Don't say, I'm not going to do anything because I don't know enough. No, you can do something. And you know what? You're going to learn more in that time of doing than just having your head in the books or, taking tutorials or classes or whatever. You're going to learn something that you may not have ever even thought about. Trust me, I know. The next thing I want to say is don't let yourself believe you have tons of time. This was another one. This one ate away at me when I was in my teens. I remember, again, going back to the music because, if you don't know, I was pursuing music. I was pursuing being a recording artist and all this kind of stuff. And I was out performing and trying to make things happen and all that kind of stuff. And I always had, because I was young, I always had this false sense of, I've got time. I'm only X years old. I've got time. I'm still young. I've got time. I don't have to worry about it today. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. You always know that one. You heard that one before. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. Maybe I'll do it the next day. You know what? No, I got to be responsible. I have to plan it out, right? I got to plan it. So let me plan to spend the whole day on this day 2 or 3 days from now. And then it never happens, or it happens, but I kind of do it halfway or whatever. You know what I mean? And so, you fool yourself into thinking you have way more time than you actually do. You just never know. And the reason why I say that is because opportunities are time-based. Whether you want to agree with that or not, most of the time it's truth. You have a window of time when an opportunity may arise, right? And you have a window of time to try and capitalize on that, to try and follow through on that opportunity. Maybe a job opportunity, maybe a love opportunity, maybe somebody that you have the opportunity to get a little closer with and stuff like that. But that opportunity is linked to a window of time. I don't know what that time is. I don't know what that window of time is. But what I do know is it's a window of time. And if you haven't prepared, right, or if you don't execute and take action during that window of time, you can miss it. And I'm sorry to say, there ain't nothing that guarantees that it's going to be back. So that window of time may be gone, and it may be gone forever. And in my case, I looked at my window of time. I looked at my opportunities, and I started saying, man, I gotta have a lot more focus, but I have to have a lot more urgency, right? Because if you can kind of tell yourself you really want something, but if you truly want it, you'll do it right now. You just will. You'll work through it, right? So don't fool yourself into thinking you've got way more time than you actually may have, because you don't know if that opportunity that you're working for is right around the corner, and that opportunity has a time limit. Let me see, what else do I have here? Don't fear failure. Oh my goodness, this is one that rings so true for myself, but it's something that I've found consistently with a lot of the people I talk to. For some reason, we have been grown up or been instilled upon us the fear of failure, and I think some of it has to do. I don't have a ton of time research into this, but just thinking back into my life, you definitely don't like being disciplined. But in school, you're taught to get good grades, and if you fail, it's a bad thing. You fail, you flunk out, right? You fail with grades in school, that means you're going to be a failure in life, right? No, that's wrong. Not saying don't try in school. I'm not saying any of that. But just because you may not do good in trigonometry doesn't mean you can't go on and be a multimillionaire, billionaire, whatever it is. You know what I mean? So, but don't fear the failure, because the truth about it is, when you're doing things that you're not good at, you're most likely going to fail to some degree, right? I remember when I used to go to the gym and I'd start to bench press, and the first time you're bench pressing, you're shaking trying to get the bar up, right? And you keep going and you're shaking and you look wobbly and look kind of like a little baby deer trying to put that bench press up, right? And then the more you go, the more steady it gets, the better your technique gets, the better that everything gets, right? But it took you putting yourself out there and being uncomfortable and doing something uncomfortable to get to the point where you failed through it, right? And got to the other side and you started succeeding, right? And so the same thing applies to other areas in your life. If you are pushing yourself to get better, pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone, pushing yourself outwards, right? Hey, baby girl. You hear them little footsteps in the background. That's my baby girl, Delilah. That's my little Boston Terrier. But if you are pushing yourself to be uncomfortable, right? You're pushing yourself for growth. You're going to fail, man, because you're doing things that you either A, haven't done before, or B, aren't really that good at, right? That's just the truth of it. It truly is. It's just the truth of it. So you need to get over the fact that you may fail sometimes. What I will say is this. If you're making the same mistakes and getting the same results over and over and you never progress past that, that's when you have an issue, right? And the issue is not the failing. The issue is not the doing. I believe your issue, most likely, not in all cases, but most likely is you're not looking and using critical thinking. You're not reviewing your actions and your progress and making steps and pivoting to overcome that failure, right? Because the goal is to get better. But if you're hitting the same wall, maybe you're not doing something right. You have to be more aware, have some more self-awareness about what you're doing, so that way you can make those little tiny changes, so you can fail through it, right? And get better over time. So I will say that. What else do I have here? Oh, yeah, this is a good one. I was just talking with somebody about this yesterday. Don't compare yourself to others when you're starting out. Let me say it one more time for those in the back. Don't compare yourself to others when you're first starting out. Look, it goes back to my last point. You're not going to be the greatest all the time, especially when you're just starting out. So why are you trying to compare yourself to this person that's been doing something, doing the thing that you're trying to do for months or years, right? They've gone through, they've learned, they've improved over time. Why are you trying to compare yourself to them when, you just picked up, a book or something, or you just started coding, or you just started doing YouTube, or you just started a podcast, or you just started a business, right? Why are you trying to compare yourself to them? You're competing in the wrong league, man. You don't go right. You're not born. You go to high school, and in the ninth grade, bam, you're playing NBA level basketball, right? No, you don't do that. You got to build your way up the levels. So don't look at somebody who is in the NBA of your field, right? Is in the professional version of your field, or whatever it is that you're trying to do, when you're just stepping into the league. You're in the little leagues right now. That's fine. There ain't nothing wrong with that. Everyone starts in the little leagues, right? Everyone. But you got to start in that league and work your way. And you can look up to people, but don't compare yourself, because when you compare yourself and you do it in an unhealthy way, you end up just building resentment towards the thing that it is that you so-called love to do. So you have this thing that it's your dream. It's something that you want to do. It's something that you dream about doing. But then you never do it, or you're hesitant to actually follow through and do it, because you are comparing yourself to this person, and because you can't deliver that product right now with what you've got, you don't want to deliver anything, right? And you put yourself in this kind of like just this situation that it's a lose-lose. It don't matter what you do. And so don't do that. Don't compare yourself. I will say this, and this has helped me, at least for myself, and like I said, this is starting out, because competition, I believe, is great. Competition really is great. And there's nothing wrong with competing with other people, but make sure you're kind of in the ballpark. Right? You're not down here starting and you're over there trying to compete with Jordan. Okay? But I will say this. Compare yourself to yourself. Okay? You say, Mateo, what does that mean? Compare yourself the next day to the person you were the day before. Okay? Or compare yourself the second video, who you are in the second video, to who you are in the first video, or who you are in the third podcast to who you are in the first podcast. Look back and compare who you are now to who you were, what you did in the past, right? And see if you've improved, if you made the levels of improvement. Start there and compete against your old self. Try to pull away and make yourself better from who you are or who you were, not too long ago. Okay? That would help out a lot. What's the next thing I got? Simplify the process at first. I struggle with this one because I want to go gung ho. I start looking like, even with the podcast right now, right? I've seen people do video on the podcast, and it took me a little while to get video on the podcast because I was working on some of these kind of things myself. I had some stuff I had to work through, and I had to smack myself and say, man, Mateo, you're just being a fool. Stop it. Just go ahead, do it. Go ahead, do the video, right? I got all the equipment. I've had the equipment. Let me go ahead and do it, right? But I made things simple. I simplified it. I said, you know what? Let me break this down into steps. The first thing for a podcast, you got to have audio. Without no audio, you got no podcast, right? And then after that, start doing a little bit of advertisement. Still got to improve upon that, right? But now I'm like, okay, let me include the video, right? That's the next step. Keep it simple. I can do audio, I can do video. I got everything I need for it. I got a little bit of time that I've carved out for it, and keep going from there and keep building upon it from there, right? But simplify it. Don't try and put out like this massive production if you're just setting yourself up for failure. Does that make sense? Because you're doing exactly that. You're just setting yourself up for failure, and you don't want to set yourself up for failure. Not at first, not when you're starting. When you've done something for a while and you've been in it for a little bit, you can push yourself. You can push yourself further and harder. But when you haven't done something for very long, you need to take the time to actually simplify it, make it very easy, make it something that you can deliver upon. And when you can deliver upon it, you can build upon it. But you need something to be able to build upon. Make sense? Let me see what else we have. Finish what you start. Goes back with what I said before. You got to finish. You got to get to the finish line. It doesn't matter if you've got the greatest product in the world. If it never gets to the finish line, it's just an untold secret. It's really what it is. Ask for help. I'm one of the biggest perpetrators of this one. You got to ask for help. Doesn't matter how you think you may look to that other person. Everyone has started somewhere. Somewhere it could be similar to exactly how you started, but they've all started somewhere. Everyone starts as a novice at everything, and they master and hone everything over time, okay? But you got to ask for help. You got to start somewhere, right? And people understand that, and they want to help. If you're showing determination, if you're showing grit and grind, you're showing the want, right? The hunger, somebody's going to help you. You just got to ask around. A few different people. And if people tell you no, don't take that personally. They just may not have the time to do it, or they may be doing you a favor. Maybe they're not the right person, right? It all depends on who you ask as well. And then the last one I'll say is you have to be aggressive towards your goals. What do I mean by that, right? I don't mean you got to be like aggressive and no. What I mean is be intentional, right? Be aggressive in the sense of moving towards something. Move with purpose. Move with passion. If you run into an issue, figure it out. Don't just say, oh man, I ran into this issue and that's why I stopped. No, figure it out. Somebody else has run into that same issue when starting, right? Somebody has run into that issue and they have figured it out. You just got to do a little bit of work to figure out what that thing is and what the solution is. And then last but not least, don't settle for where you're at right now. Don't try and rationalize and talk yourself out of doing something that you have a desire to do in your heart, right? When I was thinking about putting this podcast together, I almost didn't put it together because of multiple reasons on this list. I almost didn't start. And what it took was being aggressive. I've had to figure a lot of things out along the ways. There's some weeks the podcast comes out late because of technical issues. There's some scheduling issues, as I get more busy. But don't settle for where you're at. Go for it because you can do it. I'm telling you, you can do it. You just have to put yourself out there. You have to go and get to the finish line and start to build upon it. 1% every single day. I think it was Robin Sharma. Was it Robin Sharma? It may be Robin Sharma. Forgive me if it's the wrong person, but I think it was him that said you just get 1% better every single day. At least that may be who I heard it from. But 1%, just a little bit better every single day, and build upon it, right? But you've got to start, and you've got to start right now. Soon as you are done listening to this episode, go ahead and start. Don't wait. Don't settle. Start. I hope this has helped y'all. I love y'all very much. Thank you guys so much, and continue to tune in. I'm just hoping that I can continue to bring some kind of value to your life. It's Mondays at 8:30 a.m. Mind of Mateo Mondays. You can go ahead and find all my socials and like I said, the YouTube channel and everything like that in the description of this episode and of every episode. And until the next time,